So Barry, as a travel management company, how are you coping with more demanding end users as their expectations grow for a seamless travel experience? And how do you think the technology is meeting that growing demand?
I think the first thing to say is that the end user, the travellers, are becoming more demanding. You know, they expect more from us, and so in turn we expect more from the providers, the rail companies, air companies, car, hotels. And I think in the past we've found with air that in the last 15 years they've all had to work together to get to the stage where we're at now, where we are at mandatory e-ticketing, and so we're getting, you know, through itineraries which you know, you can do 10 or 12 sectors, you know, and it's all interlineable. And I think with rail, it's a golden opportunity now for them to actually follow the air example. Because I think in the past, I think to a certain degree, rail is looked on as a bit of a poor relation in terms of transport. And a lot of it is, you know, historical. But now, you know, the opportunity is there. You know, people are far more aware of their carbon footprint. They're far more aware that rail is a better form of transport when it comes to carbon emissions. And companies are actually actively, especially in the UK market, they're actively looking at their carbon footprint. And one of the ways forward, you know, they see is rail. You know, so. But at the same time, what they also need is, you know, they have to offset their carbon emissions and their carbon footprint, if you like, with the needs of the traveller. So, you know, you need to be able to provide a seamless travel itinerary for the individual. So if they're leaving London, coming to Paris, they may fly to Paris, but then once they're in Paris, they may go by rail down to Barcelona, they may go to Italy, they may go to Germany. But what they don't want are a whole list of P&Rs. They don't want, you know, 10 different reference numbers and to go for, you know, one for SNCF, one for Trenitalia, one for Deutsche Bahn. They want to have one itinerary, you know, which is what they get with an airline. They get one P&R and that one suffices them for the whole journey, you know. I think what I've seen here in the last 2 days is actually quite heartwarming. You know, there's a lot of drive for the rail companies to actually go in the same direction. Somebody said today, you know, we're all going in the same direction. And I think to a degree that's right, but I get the impression that they're all going at different speeds. And some people are very reluctant. And some are driving it very fast. And if we're not careful, we're going to end up with a fragmented end result, which really isn't what we want. I think in one of the discussion groups today, it was mentioned that the airlines have got, you know, 15, 16, 17 years experience of e-ticketing. Have the rail companies gone to the airlines and said, look, you know, we need your help, we need your advice. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, you know, because all you do is you take what you need from that, you know, you take what will work for you. And I think that's really, you know, what we need to do. You know, a few years ago, you know, the airlines were very reluctant to share information, you know, because they were all seen as competitors, you know. But then we have, you know, we have the One World Alliance, we've got the Sky Team, you've got Star Alliance, you know, and now they quite happily share information with each other, you know. And I think, you know, the rail companies need to be a little bit more open with each other, because at the end of the day, the only way forward is to communicate. If you don't communicate with each other, and that goes for TMCs, for air operators and for rail operators, if we don't communicate with each other, then how do we know if we're going in the right direction?
Okay, thank you very much, Barry.